Sa lesson na to, pag-aaralan natin ang compound interest. Nung sa previous lesson, we studied the module about simple interest. Compound interest is the interest that is applied a number of times during the term of a loan or an investment. Interest paid on principal and previously earned interest. Compound interest yields considerably higher interest than simple interest does because the investor is earning interest on the interest. So in simple interest, yung principal lang ang nag-earn ng interest. Pero dito, yung principal nag-earn ng interest as well as the interest. In computing the compound interest, the interest earned at the end will be added to the original principal or the principal, then the sum, which is the compound amount or the future value or the accumulated value, will be reinvested to earn more interest. The interest may be compounded annually, semi-annually, quarterly, monthly, or daily. The difference between the compound amount and the principal is called the compound interest. Meaning to say, to find the compound interest, you just subtract the compound amount and the principal. So the formula to find the compound amount is given by S equals P times quantity 1 plus I raised to N, where S is the compound amount and P is the principal and I is the interest rate, wherein this is equal to J over M. Yung J is the annual rate and M is the frequency of conversions. I will show to you the different frequency of conversions later. And N is equal to the frequency of conversions times the time in years. So, i-multiply yung M sa time. Frequency of conversions times the time. Okay. So, in short, if you substitute the value of I and N in the equation or in the formula will become S equals P times 1 plus J over M raised to MT, because I is equal to J over M and N equals MT. Okay. So, ito yung mga compounding periods natin, yung mga conversion. Kapag compounded annually, which means every year, ang M natin is 1. Kapag semi-annually, meaning twice a year. So, every 6 months. So, ang M ay 2. Compounded quarterly, meaning every 3 months. So, ang M ay 4 because 12 divided by 3 is 4. If it is monthly, every month, so ang M ay 12. Daily, 365. So, example number 1, Anna borrowed 11,300 from Ami at 15% compounded monthly for 18 months. How much will Ami receive at the end of the term? Always remember that the time should be expressed in years. Palaging sa years. So, let's identify the given first. So, the principal or the original amount of money is 11,300 pesos. And the annual rate is 15%, which is equal to 0.15. And ang M natin is 12 because compounded monthly. Then, ang time, 18 months converted to year, it is 1.5 year. So, we will use the formula yung may J and M. So, S equals P times 1 plus J over M raised to MT. Just substitute all the given. So, S equals 11,300 times 1 plus 0.15 over 12 raised to the value of M, 12 times time, 1.5. So, you just input this to your calculator and you will get 14,131 pesos and 52 centavos. Yun yung marireceive ni Ami at the end of the term. So, kapag tinanong, this is the compound amount or the accumulated value. So, kapag ang hinanap naman ay interest, isusubtract mo lang yung 14,131.52 dun sa 11,300. Yun yung ating interest. Example number 2. Find the compound amount and the interest on 200,000 pesos invested at an interest rate of 6%, compounded quarterly for 2.5 years. Dito, given na 200,000 pesos yung principal, ang J, yung annual rate natin is 6%, M is equal to 4 because it is compounded quarterly. Then yung time, naka-express na sa years, so 2.5 years. We will use the same formula by substitution. S equals 200,000 times 1 plus 0.06 over 4 raised to 4 times 2.5. So, we solve this using our calculator. As 1 na yun, diretso dapat sa calculator. You will get S equals 232,108 pesos and 17 centavos. Yan yung compound amount. Meaning yun yung kinita ng pera at the end of 2.5 years. So, magkano ang interest? So, subtract mo yung 232,108.17 doon sa original, doon sa principal, 200,000. So, thus, the interest is 32,108 pesos and 17 centavos. Okay. Example number 3. How much will be invested to accumulate 87,000 pesos at the end of 6 years if money earns 9% interest rate, compounded quarterly? So, by analyzing the problem, the given na yung compound amount because mag-accumulate ng 87,000. So, magkano daw ang i-invest? So, therefore, the missing is the principal. So, because the given are the S, the compound amount, yung future value or the accumulated value, which is 87,000 pesos, in time 6 years. Yung J, which is the rate, is 9% or 0.09, and M natin is 4, since this is compounded quarterly. Solve na natin yung value ng I, J over M, so 0.09 over 4, which is equal to 0.0225. So, wag muna tayo magra-round. Doon na lang tayo sa final answer magra-round. Kung ano lumabas sa calculator, ilagay natin. Then, ang N is M times T. So, 4 times 6, 24. So, alam naman natin the original formula is S equals P times 1 plus A raised to N. But we are solving for P. So, i-divide natin both sides yan by P. By 1 plus I raised to N rather. So, magiging P equals S divided by 1 plus I raised to N. And then, itataas natin yung denominator na 1 plus I raised to N. Since N, positive exponent, pag dinala sa numerator, will become negative. So, kaya ang formula natin is P equals S times 1 plus I raised to negative N. And by substitution, P equals 87,000 yung S times 1 plus your I, which is 0.0225 times N. 24, but it is negative, so negative 24. So, 1 plus 0.0225 is 1.0225 raised to negative 24 times 87,000, we will get 51,003 pesos and 46 centavos. Meaning to say, you have to invest this amount of money to accumulate 87,000 at the end of 6 years. So, yun yung sagot natin. So, in this problem, the missing is the rate. So, at what rate will 10,000 pesos accumulate to 15,000 in 6 years if interest is compounded semi-annually? So, given yung ating principal, which is 10,000, the compound amount, which is 15,000, yung time natin 6 years, then ang M is 2 because compounded semi-annually. Therefore, yung N natin is 2 times the time, which is 6. 2 times 6, 12. So, this formula was derived based on the original formula. Formula natin, para makuha yung I, yung rate muna. Yung interest rate is S over P raised to 1 over N minus 1. So, I equals, substitute lang natin, ang S natin is 15,000 divided by 10,000 raised to 1 over 12 minus 1. So, you just have to input this in your calculator as 1, then get the answer. I is this value. Ito yung mismong nalalabas sa calculator. So, you use this. Wag tayo muna magra-round. Then, since we have to find the annual rate, we know that I is equal to J over M. And we are looking for J. So, we are going to solve for J. We multiply I and M. So, J is equal to I times M. Alam naman natin na yung I natin, yun, yung 0.0343 and so on. Then, ang M natin is yung 2 semi-annually. So when you multiply this, the rounded value is 0.0687. Since we are talking about rate, we'll convert this to percentage. So from this decimal point, we move 2 decimal places to the right, which is equal to 6.87%. Yan yung rate. So, hindi na natin di-discuss kung paano naman kung ang missing ay time. Because when time is missing, we have to use the logarithm. So, but we have to study the more general and the basic one. So, we studied how to find the compound amount, to find the present value of the principal, and the rate of interest. So, this will be all about compound interest.